Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are diving into Elastic IPs in AWS, what they are, how they work, and when and how you should use them. Elastic IP addresses are static public IP version 4 addresses. They are basically designed for dynamic cloud computing in AWS environment. Elastic IPs are different from the regular public IPs because they are persistent, meaning that when you create an EC2 instance, it comes with an IP address. When you stop your instance and start it again, the IP address changes. But with Elastic IP addresses, it doesn't change. When you attach it to your instance, you stop the instance, you start the instance again, the IP address is always the same. So it makes it ideal for scenarios where you need a fixed, a reachable IP address for your services. How it works is that when you allocate an Elastic IP address, AWS gives you an IP address that you can associate with any running instance in your account. What this means is that if your instance fails or you need to move to another instance, you can always reassociate the Elastic IP to make sure that you do not encounter any downtimes for your application. So this is very useful for highly available setups, like when you need to migrate traffic to a backup instance, or if your service needs any fixed IP address, especially when you are setting up DNS records or configuring firewalls for your applications. When you are using Elastic IPs, there is something you should always have at the back of your mind. Elastic IP addresses, they are very useful, but they come with a cost. By default, AWS gives you one free Elastic IP address per region as long as it is associated with a running instance. Mark the keyword running, meaning that the instance must be in use for you to be able to use the Elastic IP address without any cost. If in any situation where the Elastic IP address is not associated, meaning that it is idle, you're going to incur charges. So you have to be very careful not to hoard Elastic IP addresses. All of us know that IP address version 4 is in limited supply. So you have to always let them go whenever you are not ready to use them. In summary, Elastic IP addresses are flexible, they are reliable, and they ease migration for your AWS resources. So just be mindful of the cost. If you are not actively using them, you always let them go. So in this demo, I'm going to show us how to get an Elastic IP address and how to associate it with your instance and deassociate when not in use. I've already created an EC2 instance right here. I won't be needing to show us how to create an EC2 instance. So on the EC2 instance dashboard, by this column, you'd see Elastic IP address. On here, there is no Elastic IP address at the moment, so we are going to allocate an Elastic IP address. So you have to choose the region for a broader network group. So by default, I use US East 1. So I have US East 1 here. This is all we need to do. And once we're done, we click on allocate. And this is it. So back to our EC2 instance. Let me open it in a new tab. This was the IP address of the instance, or this is the IP address of the instance before the Elastic IP address association. So going back to the Elastic IP address, when you click on it, click on Actions and Associate Elastic IP address. So on here, we are going to choose the instance. We have this instance, and once this is done, click on Associate and everything is done. So this is the allocated Elastic IP address, and this was what we had in our instance. So we should refresh here. If we do that, it should apply. And as you can see, Viola, it has applied, and it is that simple. This is because this instance is running, and I'm going to turn off this instance right now. yeah, you have to be very careful about incurring cloud costs. So going back to the IP address, the instance is already turned off. So just go back to dissociate and deassociate it, and going back again, we'll just release the elastic IP address for another customer. So what happens is that whenever we need any other fixed IP address in the future, we'll just come back and go through these steps. It's possible that you will still get this IP address, 54.167.66.113 again, if another customer has not gone to AWS to allocate the elastic IP address. But if not, we'll always have an elastic IP address available. I hope you gained something from this tutorial, and if you like what we are doing here, you can help us by subscribing to the channel and liking the videos, sharing with your friends, so you help us grow. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.